My colleague from the King County Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you. You know, we see it every day. People with no business possessing guns, doing things that are stupid and cruel and violent. And we saw it again last night here in our own county, where one young man ended the life of another young man in White Center over something that was petty and stupid and wholly avoidable, except one young man had a gun in his pocket, and it changed the lives of everyone involved. You know, it's illegal in our state to sell a gun to somebody who's under the age of 18. It's illegal to sell a gun to somebody who has a felony on their record. It's illegal to sell a gun to somebody who's been involuntarily committed for mental health treatment. And that's a good law. But we enforce that law sometimes. And any law that you only enforce sometimes isn't much of a law at all. In fact, the estimate is that about 40% of the time when guns are sold, there is no background check at all. So we only enforce that law, that common sense law that's designed to keep guns out of the hands of people who have no business of having them. We enforce it 60% of the time. And as I remember from my high school grade chart, that's an F. I remember that well. So our present law allows multiple private sales that don't have to go through any sort of background checks. And this common sense law would extend the background checks to these private sales. Now some people say, well, this is a gun show loophole case. I don't think so. I don't think that's quite accurate to call this a gun show loophole, because the organization that sponsors the largest gun shows in the state of Washington, the Washington Arms Collectors, already does background checks of all of its members. And you have to be a member to come to one of their gun shows and touch any of the guns. So if it's good enough for the Washington Arms Collectors, it should be good enough for the rest of us. Now, it's already against the law for someone to knowingly sell a gun to a person who's prohibited by law from having it. Yet we almost never see these cases come to court, because it's very easy for someone to say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know they were under 18. I didn't know they had a felony. I didn't know they'd been involuntarily committed for mental health treatment. Because you don't have to ask. And all this law says is we have to ask. We can't know, and we won't overpromise that this is going to have some immediate dramatic impact on the gun violence that we see in our community. The truth is the police don't ask very often, where did you get the gun? Because there's no point in it. This will give us a point to ask, where'd the gun come from? And if we can identify sources in the community that are selling private sales guns to people who don't have any business having those guns, then law enforcement will have the tools to act. Now, I respect those who choose to own a firearm, who exercise their Second Amendment rights responsibly. You know, responsible gun owners have no reason to oppose Initiative 594. In the rare occasion when they want to sell a gun to someone who's not part of their immediate family, all they have to do is take it to a licensed firearm dealer. And I was shocked to find out today that there were way more licensed firearm dealers in the state of Washington than there are Starbucks coffee stores. We all know where to find a Starbucks. So it's not that hard to find a licensed firearm dealer. I think this is even less of a convenience than we ask people to do when they renew their car tabs and they have to take their car to the emission testing station. That's a hassle, but we do it, and we realize that the policy behind it is that we all have to breathe this air. And we all want to make sure that our cars are not overly polluting the air. It's for the common good that we require this inconvenience, and that's exactly the basis here of Initiative 594. It's for our common good that this minor inconvenience will be enforced to 100% of our gun sales. Finally, I want to say that the right to own a gun also carries with it some responsibilities. And responsible gun owners know this. Responsible gun owners keep their guns locked up when they leave the home so they can't be stolen in a burglary. After this law passes, responsible gun owners will know that they simply need to go to a licensed firearm dealer and use that person as an escrow agent to make that sale happen. I would say this: responsible gun owners are not the problem, but responsible gun owners are the solution. Thank you for being here.